You ever notice how they come down? Feels like a funeral for someone you used to be. Woke up gray, blinds half drawn, body heavy like the weight of what I've done. Chased the feeling till the feeling wasn't real. Now I'm lying in the wreckage trying hard to feel. Empty bottles on the altar of my mind, searching through the static for a sign. My hands remember what my memory won't keep. The ghost of something good is pulling me to sleep. Ghost chemistry running through my veins. Ghost chemistry, pleasure wrapped in pain. It lights me up and burns me down the same. Ghost chemistry, just a ghost of what remains. 3 a.m. confession to the ceiling in the dark. Every high leaves something hollow in the heart. I was chasing neon guys through borrowed time. Now the silence is the loudest thing I find. Cello crying in the walls I can't escape. Every note of memory I can't erase. The body keeps the score, the mind won't face. Running from myself at a walking pace. Ghost chemistry running through my veins. Ghost chemistry, pleasure wrapped in pain. It lights me up and burns me down the same. Ghost chemistry, just a ghost of what remains. I know the formula, I know the cost. I know exactly what I gain and what gets lost. But knowing never stopped the wanting, never stopped the fall. Ghost chemistry is the loudest silence of them all. They say dopamine is just a chemical, but when it's gone, the whole world feels like a funeral. And I'm calling out to something that doesn't exist anymore. Like holding a seance for a feeling that died. Burning low in a room full of ghosts, chasing what I lost through the memories most. Fingers on the glass, spelling out your name, but the spirit that I'm calling never comes the same. Moves to feel alive in the space between the beats. Now I'm walking through the fog on these empty streets. The chemistry is broken and the signal's gone. Still I'm running the ritual at 3 a.m. alone. Serotonin Séance, calling to the dead. Serotonin Séance, voices in my head. I lit the candle for a feeling I can't find. Holding the séance for the peace I left behind. cracked wall, waiting for a sign that never comes at all. I remember when the world had color and weight. Now everything is muted and arriving too late. The cello plays the hymn for what I used to feel. Every note a prayer for something once real. My nervous system searching like a broken radio, tuning through the static for a frequency I know. Serotonin Séance, calling to the dead. Serotonin Séance, voices in my head. I lit the candle for a feeling I can't find, holding a séance for the peace I left behind. The table isn't moving, the glass won't spell relief. I've been sitting in this darkness, negotiating with my grief. Every ritual I've tried, every substance, every door, just the echo of a feeling that don't live here anymore. Curtain cold and pale, another night of searching left another trail. Maybe peace was never something I could summon back. Maybe I've been holding seance in the wrong damn track. They say serotonin regulates your mood, your sleep, your sense of meaning. What they don't tell you is how loud the silence gets when it's gone. I found your letter in a drawer I stopped opening. Read it 3 times. Felt nothing. That's when I knew how far gone I was. On paper yellowed at the edge, your handwriting a ghost along the ledge. I traced the lines but nothing travels through. Somewhere between the neurons I lost you. Used to feel your name like electricity, now it lands like rain on a dead city. The chemicals that wrote this love have dried, left behind a map of where I used to feel inside. Paper skin, can't feel you anymore. Paper skin, just words across the floor. I'm reading every letter that you left. Paper skin, too numb to feel the rest. Disconnected wires in a hollow chest. Every memory arriving undressed. No sensation where your touch once lived, just the echo of the feeling that I gave. Serotonin wrote the story of us both. Now I'm standing at the altar of a ghost. The cello plays the notes my heart won't say. Isolation dressed itself in yesterday. Paper skin, can't feel you anymore. Paper skin, just words across the floor. I'm reading every letter that you left. Paper skin, too numb to feel the rest. love. I blame the wiring. I don't blame your touch. I blame the firing of synapses that burn themselves to ash, leaving me too hollow for anything to last. Maybe disconnection is just what I am now. Empty architecture where you used to bow. Paper letters from a person I can't reach. The feeling just beyond my fingertips and speech. They say love is just oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin. But what happens when the chemistry breaks and you're left holding letters from someone you can't feel anymore, even when they're standing right in front of you? Not sad anymore. Not anything. Just orbiting like a satellite that lost its signal years ago. Ceiling stares back like an old enemy. Been awake so long I've lost my gravity. Thoughts arriving slow like sediment, sinking to the bottom of my own descent. The body wants to rest but the mind won't land, slipping through my fingers like hourglass sand. 4 a.m. has got its own particular weight, heavy like the silence just before too late.
Hollow orbit,
circle in the drain.
hollow orbit,
Can't feel joy or pain, just drifting through the atmosphere alone.
hollow orbit,
Too far out to find my way back home. Prescription bottles lined up like a choir, singing lullabies to a mind on fire. The sedative kicks in but the thoughts remain, ghost signals running through a severed vein. Cello in the walls like a sleeping prayer, notes dissolving slowly into thin dark air. I've been orbiting this feeling for so long, can't remember what it felt like to belong.
hollow orbit,
Circle in the drain.
hollow orbit,
Can't feel joy or pain, just drifting through the atmosphere alone.
hollow orbit,
Too far out to find my way back home. Somewhere out there,
someone sleeping easy.
somewhere out there,
The night isn't this heavy,
I keep transmitting,
into empty frequency.
just an astronaut
Who lost the earth beneath?
the sedative I hours have no beginning or end, just a slow dissolve of a mind around a bend, hollow and orbiting imperfectly still, waiting for the morning I'm not sure will fill. Insomnia isn't just about not sleeping. It's about being trapped in the space between who you were and whoever it is you're becoming at 4 a.m. alone.
You ever walk through a crowd and feel completely invisible? Not lonely, just absent, like your nerve endings forgot how to report back. Walking through the city like a frequency. Nobody can hear me on this channel anymore. Neon signs reflecting off the wet concrete, ghost of who I was haunting every floor. Who's to feel the pulse of every passing face? Now it's just a blur of bodies taking space. Nerve endings filed a missing persons report, left me standing hollow at the edge of thought. Nerve dead, can't feel the signal through. Nerve dead, the current won't break through. Walking through the world on severed wire. Nerve dead, still standing in the fire. Street lights flicker like a broken thought. Every conversation already forgot. The bass line in my chest where feelings were. Not just low frequency and static blur. Hands they used to reach now hang like rope. Mouth they used to speak now just in tones. The haunting isn't ghosts, it's just the gap between the person and the feeling on the map. Nerve dead, can't feel the signal through. Nerve dead, the current won't break through. Walking through the world on severed wire. Nerve dead, still standing in the fire. I've been trying to feel something real, anything at all, but the nerves just answer with the wall.
Static where the feeling used to call.
Nerve dead,
And still somehow
standing tall. Maybe numb is just the body being kind, wrapping cotton wool around a fractured mind. Nerve dead, but the heart still keeps its beat. Ghost frequency still walking down the street. Doctors call it dissociation. Poets call it losing yourself. I just call it Tuesday. Walking nerve dead through a world that's still somehow expecting you to feel. strange comfort in stopping the fight, just letting the current take you where it wants to go. They call it self-destruction. I call it finally letting go. Yeah. I've been building walls just to watch them fall, architecting chaos in the midst of it all. Every bridge I cross, I leave it burning behind, trading peace of mind for a quieter kind. Got a habit of inviting in the darker things, pulling at the thread to see what unraveling brings. Not because I'm broken, now I know what this is. Self-destruction, dressed in comfort, that's the business. Poured another glass for the version of me that still believed in something I can barely see. Toasting to the ruin like it's something to celebrate. Beautiful wreckage, arriving right on time and late. Beautiful wreckage, all that I've become. Beautiful wreckage, burning slow and numb. I built this carefully, then burned it to the ground. Beautiful wreckage is the only thing I found. See the pattern, but I'm running it again. Different faces, same old chapter, same old game. Got the telescope pointed at my own decline, watching from a distance while I cross the line. Call it self-awareness wrapped in self-abuse, knowing every exit, but I still refuse. Cello playing hymns for the choices that I make. Every note a witness to the path I take. The city lights below me look like scattered pills, trading genuine feeling for a series of thrills. I'm the architect, the arsonist, the casualty, burning down the structure of my own reality. Beautiful wreckage, all that I've become. Beautiful wreckage, burning slow and numb. I built this carefully, then burned it to the ground. Beautiful wreckage is the only thing I found. I know exactly what I'm doing doesn't make it stop. I see the bottom coming till I drop. Rational mind, filing this report while the heart ignores. The beautiful destruction is the last resort, someone keeping score. Maybe this is just the only way I know to feel something real in the undertow. Wreckage has a texture, numbness never will. Self-destruction is the last remaining thrill. So I pour another glass, raise it to the dark, toast a beautiful disaster in my heart. Not looking for a savior, not looking for a sign, just a man who chose the wreckage every time. Beautiful wreckage, all that remains. Beautiful wreckage, no one else to blame. They say rock bottom is where you finally build, but some of us just keep redecorating. You ever send a message knowing nobody's receiving? Not because you expect an answer, but because the silence is louder when you don't. Yeah, sending smoke signals, from the wreckage of my mind, hoping something out there has the patience left to find the version of me buried underneath the weight of every bad decision, dressed in something that felt great. Being transmitting on the frequency nobody reads, planting all my warnings like there's somebody else's seeds. The city got no signal where I'm standing in the dark, just a smoke signal rising from a cold and hollow heart. Every curl of smoke a sentence I can't say out loud, every flame a question disappearing in the clouds. Standing on this rooftop sending signals to the sky, not expecting any answer, just refusing not to try. Smoke signal rising from the dark, smoke signal still burning in my heart, transmitting into nothing, but I'm still here. Smoke signal, somebody, somewhere here. Read the signs, but you gotta know the language first. Every silence has a meaning, every calm precedes the worst. I've been writing in the margins of a life half lived, taking more than I return and less than I should give. Smoke signal from a fire I can't quite put out, every curl a greatest sentence, every flame of doubt. The cello plays the frequency I cannot find the words for, transmitting all the feelings I've been keeping just below the flow. Standing in the static of a city wide awake, every light of life that's burning, every choice I give or take. Still I send the signal up into the indifferent night, not because I'm certain, just because it feels like right. Signal rising from the dark, smoke signal still burning in my heart, transmitting into nothing, but I'm still here. Smoke signal, somebody, somewhere here. Maybe the signal isn't lost, maybe it's just traveling slow. Light takes years to reach us, from stars we'll never know. Still burning, still transmitting into cold and empty air. Smoke signal from a soul that's still somehow there. The city doesn't answer, the sky just holds the smoke, but something about sending it keeps something in me woke. Still here, still burning, still transmitting through the dark. Smoke signal rising from a barely beating heart. Maybe sending signals is just what survivors do, not because the answer comes, but because it gets you through. The act of transmission is the thing that keeps you sane. Smoke signal from a man who's learning how to feel again. So I light another fire on this cold and empty roof, send another signal up without demanding proof that anybody's listening, that anybody's there. Just a smoke signal rising into nobody's care. They say smoke signals with the first long-distance communication, one human being saying to another, across impossible distance, I am here, I exist. Can you see me? I'm still sending.
I remember who you were.
Carbon copy of a person I once knew, running through the memories, trying to find a clue to who I was before the chemicals took hold, before the warm became the numb, became the cold. Flipping through the archive of a fractured mind, every file corrupted, every memory misaligned, like searching through a hard drive that got dropped too hard. Fragments of a scattered life spread across the yard. Used to laugh without a reason, used to sleep without a pill, used to feel the morning sunlight like it carried something real. Carbon memory of a person still in there, buried underneath the static, underneath the wear.
Carbon memory,
Running through my veins.
carbon memory,
Who I was remains.
buried underneath the person I became. Carbon memory,
Still carrying my name.
still carrying, still carrying.
The brain keeps fouling what the heart tries to erase. Every scar a timestamp, every line a saving grace. Neuroplasticity, they say the mind can rearrange, but first you gotta sit inside the fire of the change. Memory is carbon pressed beneath the weight of years. Diamonds form slowly underneath the grief and fears. Got the drawer full of the person that I was, pulling out the photographs to remember just because. Corrupted files running through a damaged drive. Fragments of the person that I'm trying to revive. Carbon data back to somewhere worth returning to. Maybe the memory is just the map back to the truth.
Memory,
Running through my veins.
carbon memory,
Who I was remains.
buried underneath the person I became. Carbon memory,
Still carrying my name.
still carrying, still there.
I forgot what I looked like before all this. Before the damage. Before the long dark abyss. But somewhere in the carbon of my bones is the person that existed before I was alone. The cello remembers even when I don't. Plays back every version that I swore I won't forget again.
Won't forget again.
Carbon memory.
Pressing through the skin.
Maybe I'm not as far gone as I thought I was. Maybe the person in the memory still exists because the carbon doesn't lie about what once was real. Memory is just the body trying to heal. Not redemption, not a cure, not some Hollywood art. Just the carbon memory lighting up the dark. She whispers from a distance like a signal in the static. Beautiful and broken and completely automatic.
They say the body replaces every cell.
Every 7 years,
So technically,
you are not who you were.
but the memory remains
Carbon pressed.
into who you're becoming. 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 Becoming.
Nobody tells you that surviving looks a lot like just sitting very still in a dark room and choosing not to leave. Slow resurrection ain't nothing like the movie show. No lightning bolt, no choir, no dramatic glow. Just waking up and choosing not to go back down. Putting both feet on the floor without making a sound. Being living in the wreckage, got familiar with the walls. Learn the names of every shadow in these hallways and halls. Slow resurrection is a quiet kind of war. Not knowing what you're fighting for, but fighting anyway more. The cello plays the morning like it's earned the right. After all those hours keeping vigil through the night. I'm not healed, I'm not whole, I'm not even close to fine, but I'm here, and that's a different kind of sign. Slow resurrection, rising from the floor. Slow resurrection, not nothing anymore. Don't need a reason, just need one more day. Slow resurrection, finding my own way. Sobriety ain't glamorous, it's mostly just the weight.
sitting with the silence that you tried to medicate. Every craving is a ghost that knocks and won't explain why it keeps returning to the scene of all your pain. But I'm learning that the darkness had a purpose in it too. Every hollow night was teaching me something true about the architecture of a self that's been rebuilt. Slow resurrection rising up through all the silt. The baseline in my chest ain't borrowed anymore. It's the sound of someone standing at a different door. Not the one that leads back down to everything I know, but the one that's barely open, letting in the glow. Slow resurrection, rising from the floor. Slow resurrection, not nothing anymore. Don't need a reason, just need one more day. Slow resurrection, finding my own way. I used to think recovery meant going back to who I was before I fell off track. But you can't go back. The person who went down is not the same one. Slowly climbing up from underground. Slow resurrection isn't going back, it's going forward as a different kind of fact. Cracked and reassembled, scarred and still intact. Slow resurrection, and I'm never going back. Maybe this is what survival always looked like. Not a victory lap, not a spotlight, not a highlight. Just a Tuesday morning with nowhere left to fall. Just a man still standing with his back against the wall. The chemicals have settled into something I can name. Not the high, not the hollow, just a quieter flame. Slow resurrection burning at a pace I recognize. Dawn arriving slowly through these medicated eyes. They don't write songs about the slow parts. The Tuesday mornings, the unremarkable decision to just keep going. But that's where resurrection lives. Not in the dramatic moment, but in the quiet ones, when nobody's watching, and you choose to stay.
At some point, you stop trying to escape the frequency, and you just learn to live inside it. The darkness doesn't leave. You just stop being afraid of the dark.
Still frequency humming in the walls of who I am. Not the chaos, not the craving, just a different program. Been through every channel searching for the signal clear. Turns out the clearest frequency was always right here. Walked through ghost chemistry and serotonin low. Held a seance for the feelings I was scared to show. Through paper skin and hollow orbit, nerve dead nights. Beautiful wreckage underneath the neon light. Send a smoke signal from the bottom of the well. Carbon memory of stories I was scared to tell. Slow resurrection on a Tuesday, no applause. Just a man still standing without needing a cause. Still frequencies humming in my bones. Still frequency finally feels like home. Not the high, not the hollow, just the quiet in between. Still frequency, the stillest I have been.
10 songs deep and I'm exactly where I started. Same dark room, same cello, same half broken hearted. But the room feels different when you finally know its name. And the darkness feels different when you're not running from the flame. The bass still heavy but it's grounding me now. So frequencies vibrating, showing me how to stand inside the pressure without looking for the door. Still frequency is all I ever needed more. No prescription for this feeling, no chemical cure. Just a slow accumulation of surviving what was sure to break me, and it did. And here I am intact. Different shape, same soul, and I ain't going back. Still frequency humming in my bones. Still frequency finally feels like home. Not the high, not the hollow, just the quiet in between. Still frequency, the stillest I have been. I don't have a moral, I don't have a lesson wrapped in ribbon. I just have this frequency, this low dark hum that used to terrify me, and now just as the cello doesn't resolve, it just continues. And maybe that's enough. Maybe continuing is the whole point. 10 transmissions from the basement of the soul. Every track a fragment, making something whole. Not a happy ending, just an honest one at last. Still frequency, carrying the future and the past. The vinyl crackles like it always did. The bass still moves the way it always will. The cello plays the note that has no name. Still frequency, and I am still the same. Ghost chemistry, Serotonin Séance, paper skin, hollow orbit, nerve dead, beautiful wreckage. Smoke signal, carbon memory, slow resurrection. Still frequency, 10 ways of saying I was here, I went down, and I came back. Still frequency, still here, still, still, still. Still, still, still.